I think something that's just a byproduct of the work that I do is because I always sense when it happens, and often it happens on the phone during the phone consult, or it happens in the first session. For a man to have these self-doubts or insecurities, or just this sort of hole in his body of knowledge or skills, you know, and you know, first of all, we convince men that you have to have it. You always have to know what you're doing. And then if you don't, well, you better know how to fake it. And, you know, you can't ask, you can't complain, you can't look insecure. So you either have to know it all or fake it really well. And so,
and you better figure out how to be vulnerable.
And that too.
At some really good times, and show how much you don't get it and don't know how to do it, and how you're vulnerable, just like us women.
Yeah.
That's exhausting.
Yeah. Show your vulnerability, but don't look weak even for a millisecond in that moment, because then I'll freak out. You know what I mean? It's so what we put on them is so hard. And so because I have done, I have worked one-on-one with men in some way, shape, or form in a sexual arena for well over 20 years. And because the way I'm wired, I approach life and in a lot of ways like a man. So I get that thing about ambition, about doing things right, about accomplishing things, you know, not complaining, about, you know, whereas, you know, for a lot of men, it's like, I am what I do, you know, like, so I get them, and I get that insecurity about them. And so but I'm also a woman. And so I have the same sort of, those receptive, nurturing qualities.
Yeah.
And so as their sort of placeholder, you know, when we're working together, I'm in the role of their partner. To some degree, I have a lot of roles, but that's one of them. As soon as I say something along the lines of, you know, yes, you're not crazy. You're being asked to know things you have no way of knowing. You know, here's a good example. If we're talking about something very technical, like cunnilingus, okay, it's true that there are not all women like it different, but most, you know, there are a lot of nuances there, you know, and so you may have had 3 partners and you may have figured out exactly how those 3 women want it, but your next partner might want it completely different.
Oh, they will.
Yeah. And so, and she might not, in fact, odds are she's not going to say, that's great. Could you do it a little faster, a little harder, a little higher? Right. Could you use your fingers? Could you, you know, could you shift back and forth? Could you go clockwise, not counterclockwise, whatever? Some women are great at that, but the majority of them aren't. They're somewhere between silent about it and sporadic about how they impart that information. And so that is a challenge for men, right? I mean, that's pretty clear. So when I tell them you're not crazy, women are, you know, we do all like it a little bit different. We don't generally like to tell you. It is really difficult. It's not quite fair. You're not crazy. You know, when I validate what they go through, I can hear it and feel it vibrationally. I can feel them just sort of exhale, like, oh my God, okay. She understands what I'm going through, and it's okay. Like, because I think their guy friends get it, but I think that they would really like to be able, and they don't have to tell me. I already know when they come in, you know, just in talking to them, I ask the right questions, and I know what it is they're struggling with. And when I tell them they're not crazy and that I can help them learn what they need to learn, there's just this very palpable sense of relief